everyone. Welcome to Faith Family Fitness Podcast. So excited to have Erik with us again. You all loved our last podcast, so we wanted to have him join us and talk about marathon training because we're both in the thick of it. This is the perfect time because we're tired.
Seriously.
And no. But we want to talk. We were running yesterday and we were talking about marathon mentality. And having, it looks so beautiful on Instagram, all the beautiful 20 milers we're doing, but there's so much that goes into it and how exhausting. And we've kind of gone back and forth, why are we doing this?
Right.
And I know a lot of you marathoners that are tuning in feel the same way. And then go through, and even the runners that I coach, it's really, they're like, am I ready? Am I doing everything right? Or I'm just feeling really tired and all of that. And that's such a psychological thing that we all go through. And it's normal.
For sure.
It's not going to be perfect. The road to the marathon is never perfect.
No.
And we're going to talk about that today to help maybe alleviate some and give you guys hope that it will all be okay.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for having me. Happy to
Glad
be here
you're
again.
here.
So always fun running with you. And we've been hitting every Thursday together and doing big runs on Sunday or Saturdays. And it's a good thing to have the routine, but it sucks a lot. It's terrible, right? Sometimes. And like you said, all the variables, things can go wrong every hour of every day, and you still got to get up and do that run and get in that long run and, hit those strides on the way to the big race. So.
Right. And for me, it's been a different marathon cycle than the past. It's been very type A about it, and it was such a different Amanda back then. This time, I've kind of let go of a few things, and it's just owning a business, 3 kids, all the things that kind of wear me down. I've just said, okay, I'm maybe going to do a 10-miler instead of a 12-miler.
Yeah, I think you've done a good job on adjusting, and maybe you're losing a couple miles here and there, but you're getting most of it done, and you're still mentally in it. But it's good that you can adjust because you have to.
Right.
And you can't do everything.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's good to see.
Yeah, it's hard because if a lot of us most marathoners, I would say, are type A.
Yeah.
And so that's been huge. So if that encourages anybody that listens, that
for sure.
The work's still being done. It just may look a little different than another person.
Yeah. Well, I like how you said marathon mentality, which is funny because you had that in mind before we were talking, and that's my thing too. Those are my 2 favorite words because marathon mentality applies to life, not just the marathon, obviously. And so the marathon teaches you so much about yourself. And one of my favorite quotes, which I always hit you with quotes, is everything you've ever wanted to learn about yourself, you learn in 26.2 miles. I think we said it on one of our podcasts before too.
For sure we did.
And it's just a cool thing because you learn something every time you run, but also every time you run a marathon, you learn so much about yourself.
Yeah, sometimes it's not good. Because I'm like, wow, why am I feeling so negative? And I just learned to okay, you will battle through this. You move every mile. Let's go.
Well, you're someone who maybe in your mind you've had more bad races than good races, and you've struggled because you've had hard performances that you thought were going to be good and they aren't.
Right.
But that's the marathon.
It is.
And like we were saying on Thursday, you've already done so much more than you thought you could do, which is amazing.
So true. Yeah.
And I know your athletes, you're proud of them for doing that and pushing themselves to their next level. And so you kind of got to take what the marathon gives you, and it doesn't give you much.
And that's life, right? It's so good.
Yeah.
Because I tell my kids all the time, I go, it's not just given to you. And it's not going to be perfect. My daughter's in volleyball right now, and certain games go her way, some they don't.
Yeah.
And I go, it's how you face that adversity.
Yeah.
Are you going to crumble or are you going to keep moving forward?
For sure. And that's marathon mentality, right? You're mourning that loss of a poor performance for a day or 2 days or maybe a week.
Right.
And then you're moving on because you have another challenge.
Yeah.
And the marathon is, mile 24, something happens, but then you got to go be on point for mile 25 and 26.
What are some ways that you kind of combat that? Okay, how do I pick it up from a failed race? What are some tools that you could give us that you've used?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I love that because for me, I'm kind of like you where I'm grateful I've been able to do more with running than I thought I could do. And so every time it's well, this is just icing on top of the cake. So what's in that icing? Is it what does it taste like? It tastes like you learn something about yourself where you should have done longer runs in that cycle, or you should have gone to sleep earlier that cycle because you know you're just drained, or you should have done less that cycle because too much is on your plate. So you learn something about yourself every time you run, especially the marathon. And it's a 12-week cycle. It's like a huge, take out of your life. And so what could I have done differently, and what will I do differently for the next one? And then it's pick another race, pick another goal.
Right.
Even if your goal isn't a PR, pick another goal to.
And that too, it's like changing what those goals may be.
For sure.
And that's kind of where I think my shift is going into. Like, maybe my marathon PR was, I forget what.
Has happened.
Yes, has happened. Yeah. I forget what year it was.
Yeah.
And maybe it's shifting to, okay, I want to run like 3-hour marathons for now, or like just I hate the training. It's like so hard. You feel like I've accomplished so much, and so I don't ever want to like get rid of that moment and that type of training, because it teaches us so much in that moment or in that cycle. But maybe just changing your goal focus, like even what you were saying, hey, I'm going to just do the marathon this fall, and then I'm focusing on fast track stuff. So.
For sure. And that's right, is you have to kind of pick and choose when you want to go for it. And I'm going for it in New York, and it's going to be fun.
Yay!
But New York's like my bucket list, and it's like, I don't care how I do in New York, it's just New York. But now
when is New York?
November 3rd. So
it's coming up.
Yeah, so we have the majors coming up, which is fun. But then like 2 years ago, I ran Boston for fun, and that was my most favorite race ever, because it was running Boston and not trying to die in Boston. You're just enjoying Boston.
And how long have you been doing the marathon? Like, because it's been
since 2018.
Yeah.
So
it's been a long road.
Yeah.
And but changing it up like that's probably helped you stay in it.
But I just want to tell the people and the listeners, I haven't PR'd since 2019. So I haven't ran a marathon PR in 5 years.
Same.
And I'm way better than I was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
In my half, I PR'd, right? Other races I PR'd, but the marathon, nope. And I might never do it.
I know.
Which is crazy.
It's so crazy.
Crazy to
We
think
are
about.
literally in the same world right now. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so I get the hurt.
You'll learn a lot,
But like, we're not sad. We've still got, we've had a great career, and we're enjoying it, and we're helping to pace and help other people.
And finding the community to help you get through those hard, like, people don't understand it until they've gone through it. So even Jared, he's done, doing the Grand Canyon with him, I didn't understand it until I did it. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is really hard. And now I get why you were hurting. Like, so until someone's done the marathon, it's hard to relate. So finding a community that helps you through it and has gone before you is huge too.
Definitely. Yeah, helping to pace Mandy for her sub-3 and her big PR lifetime goal that she crushed in February. And Jacob too, he broke 3 for the first time.
Yes.
And doing that with them and Dylan was way more meaningful to me than having having a PR there. And I got to see you and Rob at the end, and like it was good. It was just fun. I wasn't blacked out for that, Yeah. So they're different type of goals, and that's the fun stuff.
That's
you got
to. And maybe that'll be the next pacing everybody. It's fun. It's a good job. Like, hey, let's go.
Yeah.
But that's awesome.
I think that's great. What gets you out of bed every morning, because you don't sleep as much as other people and you have so much going on? So how are you every single day you're doing it and you're putting on a good attitude and a smile for your...
Not always a good attitude. I try.
Maybe that's generous.
No, yeah. But it's funny, like, you as a coach, as a business owner, you tell people these are your goals, or like they have your goals, but you're helping them reach their goals. And how can I inspire people if I don't have a goal myself? Like, you have to live it.
Right.
So that's, for me, I'm like, I will walk the walk, and it may look differently, but I'm going to get up and work hard every single day. And it may look different, it may not be perfect, but I will show up and give my all. On 5 hours of sleep or 4 hours of sleep.
Because that road is so meaningful, and you can't replace it.
You have to have something you're working towards, or you're just going to stay. I hope I'm in a different Amanda in 5 years. I hope I look back and be like, oh, wow, I can't believe I've done that. Or And that can just be in life in general, like my teaching and my coaching and the business. Like, let's see progress, and that's... really progress over perfection, right?
Yeah. Can we talk about two of the other anchors that this podcast is named after, faith and family?
Yeah.
And that's why I do it too, right? And that's why you've been a good mentor for me. And we have that same alignment. And for people who have that alignment, I think it's really important too, because
what are the priorities?
Yeah. And, faith in that, like, you have this path for you with running and other things in your life, but also you have some people run with their spouses and their kids, and that's so huge. And even if you don't have that, like, your partner and your kids seeing how much you've done with running and with fitness, and like, that's a really good thing to keep it going at an older age as you're into motherhood and things like that. So I think that's huge. And my mom friends are just so inspirational to me because of that, and dad friends too. But
it's just great to see, like, and make it, and include your family in it. Make them, he likes you. Luke is our mascot. He has to come with me everywhere. Yeah. But he's my family.
Yep. We love the dogs.
But yeah, he runs like 1.5 miles with me every day. Like, I make sure.
That's awesome.
So, but yeah, having the faith aspect as well, and grounding yourself in that, and knowing that it's not all about running. It's not all about, like, these goals. Like, we have our family and our faith that grounds us as well. My identity is not in running. I love it, but it's not my faith is what grounds me and who I am.
For sure. So, and I think that's great for everyone to find anchor in that as well.
And that's where, like, when we talk about the running and how it takes so much, even the mental aspect, it's like, okay, it is running. It's not who I am.
Sure.
It's running. Yeah. I know who I am. My kids love me. They won't even care what my marathon
They won't know what happens on a Tuesday workout or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. And they love me. And my God loves me.
Yeah.
So
100%
and loves
agree.
you. So it's just, we're good. We are good.
Yeah. And that's the reminder. So I think that's huge for everyone.
So
marathon mentality.
Thank you for chatting about this. I hope it,
of course,
like, speaks to many of you that you're not alone in the journey, but it is worth it.
Never alone.
Yes.
So.
Thanks. Oh, yes. Don't forget. Share this podcast. Join us. Yay. Free Fit Aid if you share it out. Thank you so much. All right.
Thanks all.